Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the academic procession which is about to enter the hall. Please remain standing for the Australian National Anthem, which we encourage you to join in the singing. The text of the anthem is printed on page 11 of the graduation program. Please rise for the academic procession.
Australians, oh let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth of toil, armies scourged by sea. Our land a bounty, nature's gift of beauty. Australia fair, in joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Good morning and welcome. I, Kevin Johns, scarce Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, declare open this congregation convened for the purpose of presenting degrees. Distinguished guests, parents, relatives, friends and especially graduates, welcome to this fabulous hall that's been used since 1936 for the presentation of degrees. I wish to acknowledge the Kaurna people, the original custodians of the Adelaide Plains, on the land on which this university, our campuses at North Terrace, Waite, Thebarton and Roseworthy are built. Firstly, my congratulations to all of the graduates. Today is a very special day for you, a day that marks but a destination on your journey of education throughout your life. It's a wonderful opportunity to start afresh and look at the future before you. Lots of opportunity, lots of challenges in our state, our nation and the globe, and I trust that you will learn the skills and knowledge to be part of the solution for tomorrow's problems. Today's also a day to reflect on the past, and I'm sure you can't do that without acknowledging the contribution that your parents, loved ones and friends have made to your lives to this date. And we certainly acknowledge the families here today to witness this very special event. I also must acknowledge the professoriate and the academic staff. Universities are much more than bricks and mortar. They're the lifeblood of the future generation of leaders, and this can't be achieved without the terrific support of the academic and professorial staff of our university, and I acknowledge their contribution to our graduates' work. Today we are honoured to bestow 2 honorary degrees in music to 2 eminent Australians. I now call on the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Arts, Professor Jenny Shaw, to present the candidates.
Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present to you Dr. Robin Archer. The award of the degree of Doctor of Music honoris causa acknowledges Robin Archer's contributions as a singer, writer, composer, stage and artistic director and public advocate of the arts in Australia and internationally. Robin was born in 1948 in Prospect, South Australia. She graduated from the University of Adelaide with a Bachelor of Arts honours and Diploma of Education and took up a full-time singing career in blues, jazz, rock and cabaret. Robin sang in the Australian premiere of Bertolt Brecht and Kurt Weill's The Seven Deadly Sins to open the space at the Adelaide Festival Centre in 1974. She subsequently played Jenny in Weill's Threepenny Opera. Since then, her name has been linked with the German cabaret songs of Weil, Eisler and Dessau. Her one-woman cabaret, A Star is Torn, which toured throughout Australia from 1979 to 1983 and played for a year in London's West End, and her 1981 show, The Pack of Women, both became successful books and recordings. Archer has written and devised many works for the stage, from The Conquest of Carmen Miranda to songs from Sideshow Alley and Café Fledermaus. Her ties to Adelaide have remained strong. In 2008, her play Architekten on the life of Margareta Schütte-Lehowski premiered at the Dunstan Playhouse at the Adelaide Festival Centre, and she gave the annual Hawke Lecture at the Adelaide Festival Centre in 2013. Robin has directed many major arts festivals in Australia and overseas. These have included the National Festival of Australian Theatre, the Adelaide Festival of Arts and the Melbourne International Arts Festival. She has also held many board positions, including that of Chair of the Community Cultural Development Board of the Australia Council, Member Board of Directors of the International Society of Performing Arts and Patron National Affiliation of Arts Educators. Her former South Australian and University of Adelaide affiliated positions have included that of the inaugural Ambassador to the Adelaide Festival Centre, Trustee for the Don Dunstan Foundation and Board Member of the Helpman Academy. Her current positions include that of Member of the European House of Culture, she is the only Australian member, and patron of many organisations, including the Arts Law Centre of Australia, the National Script Centre and the Australian Art Orchestra. She is Ambassador for both the Adelaide Crows and the International Women's Development Agency, and an advisor on the centenary of Anzac. Archer is well known as a public speaker and presenter. Her recent public speeches are published under the title Detritus, and in 2012 she was the first woman to deliver the Arthur Boyd Memorial Lecture in London. A truly international figure, Dr. Archer was made an Officer of the Order of Australia in 2000, and for her services to France, she was made a Chevalier de l'Ordre des Arts et des Lettres and in Belgium an Officer of the Crown. Among her many other accolades, she was awarded the Sydney Critics Circle Award and the Henry Lawson Award in 1980, gained an ARIA Best Soundtrack Award for Pack of Women in 1987, and she was awarded the South Australian Premier's Lifetime Achievement Award in 2012. Robin has made an outstanding contribution to contemporary Australian music, theatre, cabaret and the artistic direction of festivals internationally. She holds firsts in several of her fields of endeavour and has been a mentor and inspiration to many. I am very pleased and proud to present to you Chancellor Dr Robin Archer, Bachelor of Arts, Diploma of Education, Doctor of Letters, University of Sydney, Doctor of the University, Flinders University, Chevalier de l'Ordre des Arts et des Lettres, France, Officer of the Order of the Crown, Belgium, Officer of the Order of Australia, for admission to the honorary degree of Doctor of Music, honoris causa. Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present to you Mr James Morrison. The degree of Doctor of Music honoris causa is being awarded to Mr Morrison to acknowledge his exceptionally distinguished service to jazz performance and teaching and for his mentoring of jazz students in Australia. James was born in 1962 into a musical family and attended Pittwater High School before enrolling at the Sydney Conservatorium of Music, where he completed his tertiary studies in jazz. He has performed with many of the jazz greats, including Dizzy Gillespie, Don Burrows, Ray Charles and B.B. King, Ray Brown, Wynton Marsalis, Frank Sinatra, Cab Calloway, Woody Shaw, Whitney Houston, Arturo Sandoval, Phil Stack, George Benson, Mark Nightingale and Red Rodney. He has also had a long association with composer and pianist Lalo Schifrin and has recorded a number of CDs for Schifrin's Jazz Meets the Symphony series with the London Symphony Orchestra and the Czech National Symphony. James actively mentors up-and-coming jazz musicians. His association with the Generations of Jazz annual festival at Mount Gambier has led to the formation of a new tertiary jazz program in South Australia this year. In 1997, James was appointed a member of the Order of Australia for his services to music, particularly jazz, and the sponsorship of young musicians. He has made many commercial recordings and in 2013 was inducted into the Graham Bell Hall of Fame. James has a busy teaching and performing schedule, but has always generously given of his time and expertise to Adelaide students and audiences. For example, in 2012, with jazz staff of the Elder Conservatorium of Music here at the University of Adelaide and the Elder Conservatorium Big Band, he played in 2 sell-out benefit concerts that raised funds for the restoration of the university's Elder Hall. And in February 2014, he appeared again in the Adelaide Town Hall with the Adelaide Youth Orchestra performing High Art by Elder Conservatorium's new director, Professor Graham Kerner, AO. He will again be appearing with our students at the Helpman Foundation Jazz Awards dinner this month. James has been a valuable and inspirational mentor for many of this university's jazz and classical music students and staff. I'm very pleased and proud to present to you, Chancellor, Mr James Morrison, Doctor of Music, honoris causa, Edith Cowan University, Doctor of the University, Griffith University, Member of the Order of Australia, for admission to the honorary degree of Doctor of Music, honoris causa.
Thank you. Thank you very much. When I was asked to give a short oration today, I said, what does that consist of? And I was told, well, perhaps you should reverse engineer it. After you've spoken, you'll be thanked for your words of wisdom. So I thought, okay, I need some words of wisdom. And I was also told that these things generally take 2 paths. One would be to talk about your early life and your journey. applying the words of wisdom criteria to that rules that out. The other way it can go is you can give a pep talk, say something that stirs the graduates as they move on to their next thing. Being a contrarian at heart, I thought I'd not do that just because I was asked to. And I'm a jazz musician after all. And perhaps go completely off topic. Or am I? Because I thought what might be interesting today, just in a few words, is to define music for you. Now, that could mean that half the room who are not musicians immediately think this is not for them, but stay with me. In a quick definition of music, you might find we define a whole lot more. What is it anyway? It's sound, of course, with some silences. I have attended one piece that just consisted of silence. It was fascinating, quite exciting, and doesn't get played often. But generally music is sound. Therefore, I guess if I slam a door, I'm making music. Of course, we would say, no, you're not. So what defines it? Is it musical instruments? No, because if any sound made on a musical instrument was music, if that's what you think, then you haven't heard some of the bands I've worked with. It takes more than just picking up a saxophone and making a noise through it. So if we define sound quickly in two categories, as noise and music, then noise are sounds that have no purpose. The door slamming, why does it make a sound? Is it necessary? If I closed a door and it was silent, would anyone care? It just happens to make a sound. It serves no purpose. So therefore, that's a noise. Much the same as that saxophone player I mentioned. And that's the thing I'm coming to with the definition of music. Music is sound with an intention. Therefore, am I not creating music right now as I speak to you? This is sound with an intention. Looking around the room so far, if it's a pep talk, it's not working too well. But nonetheless, it's sound with an intention. Of course, this is a speech. No, it's musical sound. And yet that door slamming can be music. If we get a great percussionist to slam the door and do it in a musical way, what is that? What is that musical way? And what I've found over all the years and all the bands and all the audiences that I've tried to engage is it's got nothing to do with the instrument you're holding. It's got nothing to do with the notes you play or not. It's got nothing to do with whether the sounds are musical. Talking about the sounds you make and thinking that has something to do with it being music is like walking up to Michelangelo's David and saying, give us a look at your chisel. It's just something you use to create the art. It's not the art itself. The sounds we make are just tools. What makes that sound music and not noise is the intention of the musician. Do you intend to convey something? Do you have a feeling? Do you have a message? Are you sad? Are you happy? Are you angry? Do you want to say something to people? And then if you make sounds to do that, then you're making music, and you can use a door or a saxophone. And it's the intention of the musician, and hence when I say perhaps we'll define more than music here, surely in all of the creative endeavours, we are here with the Faculty of the Arts today, and I don't know if this has crossed your attention yet, but people in the world expect us in the arts to be creative. In whatever endeavour you create, if you create something in a bubble and it communicates to no one and gives nothing to them and doesn't take what you had inside of you and put some of it inside of them, is it really art? Certainly with sound, it's not music if it doesn't do that. It's just noise. And so I would say to you, what I've found, no matter what style of music I played, and I played many, no matter what instrument I pick up and I play many, no matter what I do, and today I'll play something for you, and it won't be a new, innovative song, it'll be a very old song, not very creative, one might say. Just quickly, creativity is not about innovation. They're different things. Creativity is creating something where there was nothing. If I invite you over for morning tea and there's no cake, it's innovative, but not so satisfactory. I need to create a cake. However, if I bake a lemon cake with a white icing, you say there's nothing innovative about that, but I will have a piece. I have created a cake. Creativity is putting something where there was nothing. You can spice it with innovation, you can season it with humour, you can put what you like into it. but you've made something come into being that makes people feel differently. And I guess that's what I'm really coming to. I will feel differently after the cake. I'll be satisfied. I'll enjoy my morning tea more. What you do in the arts when you create something, and you create music or whatever it is you do, and you take what it is inside of you and put some of it inside someone else, their life is now different. And what it's really about is changing people's lives with what you do. Now, if that doesn't give you some pep, nothing will. I've never, I think, addressed a group of people in any way, anywhere, and just spoken. And I do a lot of public speaking, but I always insist on picking up a trumpet. People have said to me, do you have your trumpet with you? And I say, I never go anywhere unarmed. And I couldn't possibly just say a few words today and not play my instrument. Of course, having such an esteemed colleague here as Robin Archer, I also wouldn't dare play the trumpet without asking her to join me. In fact, I think I'm joining her. So as I did, I must mention that Robin wasn't even aware that we'd worked together before. She said, this would be lovely, the first time working together. I said, not so. In fact, I think it's about 36 years ago, I was in the horn section on a show that she was doing in the Sydney Town Hall. We did 5 or 6 nights there, and I was a youngster from the Conservatorium in Sydney and managed to score a gig playing behind the great Robin Archer. And so we're going to work together every 36 years, no matter what now. So if I could ask you to invite Robin Archer down to join me, we'd like to play a number for you.
James, I must say that singing a blues song written by W.C. Handy in an outfit like this is feeling a little Groucho Marx at the moment, but let's do it. To see the evening sun go down. Yes, I hate to see the evening sun go down, because that man of mine, he's gone, left this town. If I'm feeling tomorrow, Lord, like I feel today, yeah, if I'm feeling tomorrow, oh, like I feel today, I might pack my bags and make my getaway. Woman, with all your diamond ring, she drags that man of mine around, Lord, by her apron strings. And if it weren't for that powder and all that high-combed hair, you know, the man that I love, he wouldn't have gone nowhere, nowhere. I got the St. Louis blues, I'm as blue as I can be. Yeah. That man's got a heart like a rock chucked into the sea. Or else he wouldn't have gone so damn far from me. Play that thing, Dr. Morrison, go, go, go. that man of mine around, Lord, by his academic gown strings. Yeah, and if it weren't for that powder and all those high-toned airs, well, you know the man that I love, he wouldn't have gone nowhere, nowhere. I got the St. Louis blues, I'm as blue as I can be. Yeah, that man's got a heart, oh, like a rock cast into the sea. Oh, else he wouldn't have gone so damn far from me. Yeah.
On behalf of the graduates and their families attending today's ceremony, I would like to thank Dr. Robin Archer and Mr. James Morrison. We're honoured that you have taken the time to join us on this special day and share your expertise and oration with us. Please join me in once again thanking Dr. Robin Archer and, or now Dr. James Morrison,
I will now receive the candidates for degrees. I call upon the Vice-Chancellor.
Chancellor, I, Professor Warren Bebbington, Vice-Chancellor and President of the University of Adelaide, certify to you and the whole University that the graduates who will be presented to you have fulfilled all the conditions prescribed for admission to the awards for which they are so presented.
I, Kevin John Scarce, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, by virtue of the power committed to me by the University, confirm that each graduate is admitted to the rank and privilege of the holder of the award in the University of Adelaide for which they are so presented.
Chancellor, I, Professor Jenny Shaw, present to you graduates from the Faculty of Arts. To the degree of Bachelor of Social Sciences, Jessica Megan Brown. Emily Ann Carr. Courtney Lee Lenton. James Hanton March. Lucy Rose McGinley. Joanna Papadimitriou. Mary Ellen Portelos. Jessica Ann Raby. And Georgia Maureen Traher. To the degree of Bachelor of Media, Floyd David Bakewell. Jenna Maritza Barrett. Robert Penn Bulko, and Robert also receives the Bachelor of Arts. Sophie Rose Brun, and Sophie also receives the Bachelor of Arts. Paul Henry Chambers. Alicia Simone Chenoweth. Matilda Sarah May Conlon. Amy Louise Cooper. Jack Thomas Cooper, and Jack also receives the Bachelor of Commerce Marketing. Jasmina Kubalik, and Jasmina also receives the Bachelor of Arts. Mariana Hill Danby. Zane Jason Dean. Christella Sophia Dimitriakopoulos. Mardi Lee Eckert. Thomas Douglas Fitzgerald, and Thomas also receives the Bachelor of Commerce Marketing. Sarah Kate Ford. Carmen Isabella Fulaguli. Ryan Carl Joseph Gardner. Patrick Michael Garrett. Elizabeth May Gu. Kirsten K. Hatwell. Kayla Renee Hogben. Anastasi Karatasa. Amber Monique Keogh. Luke Keith Kimber. Dimitra Koliozos. Hugh Thomas Ledbetter, and Hugh also receives the Bachelor of Arts. Elena Araceli Luna. Chelsea Michelle Martin. Kerry Middleton. Bethany Belinda Miller. Andrew Francis O'Grady. Hannah Orokia Mary Paul. Kiri Amanda Riley. Amy Jade Forrest Roberts. Alexander Adrian Roginski. Tom Alexander Seagrim. Toby Joseph Stein, and Toby also receives the Bachelor of Arts. Aslan J. Lee Stiles. Samuel Asher Talbot. Tamtu. Konstantina Vatsokas. Dylan James Varian. I have Timothy Ross Wilson. No. Ella Louise Watson. Emily Chin Mai Wong. And Emily also receives the Bachelor of Arts. And Crystal Zheng Jaton. To the degree of Bachelor of Languages, Valentina Agostinelli. Alexandra Francesca Bianchetti. Sasha Claire Cicolella. And Adam Peter Ferris, and Adam also receives the Diploma in Languages. To the degree of Bachelor of International Studies, Charlotte Louise Ackroyd. Nastasia Renee Basili, and Nastasia also receives the Bachelor of Arts. Reese Bradley Roberts. Candice Brianna Caretti. Kieran Michael Cash. And Kieran also receives the Diploma in Languages. Callum Dean Cross, and Callum also receives the Bachelor of Arts. Jack Forbes Dart. Nicholas Kevin Egan. Charudata Chandabanyu Ekanayake. Joshua William Fardell. Ashley K. Fowle. Ashley Jean Fitzgerald. Kazmira Evelyn Gregory. Danielle Jane Hratsis. Sylvie Gabriella Hugan. Bridget Louise Kelly, and Bridget also receives the Bachelor of Arts. Anna Larson, and Anna also receives the Bachelor of Arts. Lucas Robert Lovell, and Lucas also receives the Diploma in Languages. Tanya Margarian. Felicia Laurie Martin, and Felicia also receives the Bachelor of Economics. Callum Henry Douglas McNair. Claire Rose Moffat. Jasmine Louise Munn McDonnell. Benjamin John Palmer, and Benjamin also receives the Bachelor of Laws. Konstantinos Panakis, and Konstantinos also receives the Bachelor of Arts. Ashton Ari Papazahariakis. Sarah Yvonne Phillips. Maria Podobny. Thomas James Price, and Thomas also receives the Bachelor of Arts. Gregory Edward Reynolds. Mary Elizabeth Helena Zumlo. Cassandra Louise Laken Eloise Weatherald Fuss. Jonathan Mark Wenham. Mary Rose Westling. Samuel Luke White. Wang Tiangming. Catherine Hannah Wood, and Catherine also receives the Bachelor of Development Studies. Caitlin Jane Woodcock. Michael Thomas Yates, and Michael also receives the Bachelor of Commerce, International Business. And Thomas Archibald Young. To the degree of Bachelor of Environmental Policy and Management, Denise Suzanne Bartlett. James Endine, and James also receives the Diploma in Languages. Megan Erica Jones. Kevin John Lawrence. Catriona Bridie Mayer McLean. And Jessica Nguyen Pham. To the degree of Bachelor of Development Studies, Esther Delo, and Esther also receives the Bachelor of Psychological Sciences. Abuk Madut Dut. Andrea Lucas. Annabelle Kate MacDonald. Yamikani Anna Nwangwa. Shanti Michelle Omode James, and Shanti also receives the Diploma in Languages. Rachel Elizabeth Wedding. And Trezo Zaida. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Social Sciences, Samantha Jane Papavasilu. And Chantel Louise Thayer. To the honours degree of Bachelor of International Studies, Melissa Ellen Dowling. Nicholas Luke Fox. Cassandra Ellen Humble. Victoria Ann Siobhan Moore. And Scott Bryce Morgan. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Development Studies, Helen Kate Bush. To the Graduate Diploma in Art History, Jessica Stephanie Ersig. And Craig Robert Middleton. To the degree of Master of Environmental Policy and Management Applied, Oleksiy Ivan Strashko. To the degree of Master of Environmental Policy and Management, Kate Ostrakis Graves. And Meenakshi Meenakshi. To the degree of Master of Arts, Translation and Transcultural Communication, Liu Wenling. Qian Siqian. And Hun Shen. To the degree of Master of Arts, Studies in Art History and Master of Arts, Curatorial and Museum Studies, Alexandra Mowbray. To the degree of Master of Arts, Studies in Art History, Maxine Flatt. To the degree of Master of Arts, Food Studies, Tibi Chiu. And Sandra Christine Clark. To the degree of Master of Arts, Curatorial and Museum Studies, Hannah May Hutchison. Anne Catherine Louise Johns. And Tessa Marie Stowe-Smith. To the degree of Master of Arts, Applied Linguistics, Maggie Gu Chong-mei. To the degree of Master of Philosophy for a thesis entitled Across the Pacific, the Transformation of the Steel Guitar from Hawaiian Folk Instrument to Popular Music Mainstay, Roger Guy Scott Cundall. And for a thesis entitled The Political Role of the Catholic Church in Poland under Martial Law 1981 to 1983, Jessica Joche. to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for a thesis entitled Rebirthing, the Transformation of Personhood Through Embodiment and Emotion, Elise Mary Carr. For a thesis entitled Nick Mount, Blow by Blow, Reconfiguring Biography, A Genre in Motion, Denise K. George. For a thesis entitled Lasipede and Desiring Nature, Femininity, Trauma and Desire in the Coorong, Geraldine Love. For a thesis entitled Pet Names, Connection and Identity in Second-Person Fiction, Lauren May Lovett. For a thesis entitled Scaffolding Science, A Pedagogy for Marginalised Students, Bronwyn Mary Parkin. For a thesis entitled What Maketh the Man, Towards a Psychobiographical Study of Lin Yutang, Rosin Joy Ritchie. For a thesis entitled Double Threads, Reading Dress, Fashion, Narrative and Representations of Femininity in Victorian Popular Literature, Madeline Clare Sayes. For a thesis entitled The Utopian in a Faithless World, Landfall, Reginald John Taylor. For a thesis entitled Suicide Attacks in Afghanistan and Pakistan, Nicholas John Wilkie. And for a thesis entitled The Impact of Migration and Remittances on Home Communities in Ethiopia, Gurmatu Adugna Zudu.
Chancellor, I, Professor Graham Kerner, present to you graduates from the Elder Conservatorium of Music. To the Certificate for in Music Technology, Robert John Boundy. To the Certificate for in Music Classical, Marcus Becker. And Samuel James Todd. To the Diploma in Music Sound Engineering, Justin Gillies-Bell. Benjamin Thomas Clark, Ryan DeLang, Samuel Hugo Goodvine, Benjamin Luke Ramsey, and Zach Ethan Taylor. To the Diploma in Music Classical, Rachel DeAngelis and Nicola Jade Kubank. To the Diploma in Aboriginal Studies in Music, Seth Dodd. And Daniel Michael Joseph Hughes. To the Advanced Diploma in Aboriginal Studies in Music, Eleanor Lang. And Tamika Sky Moore. To the degree of Bachelor of Music, Music Education, Rebecca Deborah Ann Dodd. Bethany Grace Hammond. Sarah Jane Horn and Nicholas John Miller. To the degree of Bachelor of Music Studies, Emily Louise Johns. Simone Mary Karanicolas. Simone also receives the Diploma in Languages. And Iran Sanadzada. To the degree of Bachelor of Music Education, Alana Brooke. Thomas Raymond George Bubner. Edward Michael Hund. Harrison Brunel Austin Lambert. Dominic Jeffrey Meehan. Stephanie K. Neal. Rosie Irene Eccleston O'Reilly. Bianca Connie Puntiero. Naomi Sky Ridley. Lisa Amanda Schultz. Rachel Jade Seeger. Georgia Melissa Simmons. Julia Rose Watson. Catherine Leslie Daphne Wright. And Georgia Finley Yates. To the degree of Bachelor of Music, Sonic Arts, Christopher James Harrison. Nathaniel Kim Pike. And Christopher Luke Vince. To the degree of Bachelor of Music, Performance and Pedagogy, Hong Heng Antonio. Siobhan Murad Owen. Samantha K. Raftery. To the degree of Bachelor of Music, Jazz Performance, Andrew Paul Collingwood. Lewis William Daly. James Glaister. Sean William Helps. Alexander Joachim. Alexander also receives a Diploma in Languages. Angus James Mason. Matthew John Alton. Milek Misha Pichot. And Laura Victoria Zabrecki. To the degree of Bachelor of Music Composition, Mitchell Scott Bartell. To the degree of Bachelor of Music Classical Performance, Jessica Emily Archbold. Samuel Lee Butler. Esther Chia. Thomas Ellison Cowie. Jack Yahan Delaland. Chloe Rose Higgins. Samantha Faye Rychek. Sarah King. Katrina May Mackenzie. Kirsten Elise Palmer. Emily Kate Ravenscroft. Thomas James Shepherd. Jun Lester. Jack Zhengzhong Young. To the degree of Bachelor of Music, Kimberly Adams. Michael Gino Briganti. Winona Kiara Campbell, Araya Chandra Gabel, Benjamin David Green, Rowan Hugh Harding, Lloyd Charles Hareen, Peter Douglas Jenkins, Django Joe Martin Rowe, Lucinda Emma Pope, Jasmine Ridley, Matthew Lawrence Samut, Tegan Ashley Short, Lucas Jordan Sly, Juling Smythe, Navar Dean Tayton, Cameron Mitchell-Taylor, Gregory Tennikov, Natalie Zeleny. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Music, Popular Music and Creative Technologies, Robin Ann Hable. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Music, Performance and Pedagogy, Tatiana Borodakina. And Miriam Alice Field. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Music, Jazz Performance, Giovanni Aurelio Clemente. Daniel Steve Gibbons. Thomas Daniel Leach. Wade Leslie Nixon. And Neil Patrick Palmer. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Music, Composition, Livio Carmine Forza. And Sebastian Flox. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Music, Classical Performance, Karina J. Button. Laura Ellen Evans. Thomas Hiawatha Greer. Edward Michael Colton, Fiona Jane McCardle, Joshua David Oates, Alexander Edward Payne, and Gillian Rochelle Visser. To the Graduate Diploma in Music, Performance and Pedagogy, Heng Liu, and Mao Zhu Ziong. To the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Erard, Boscher and Their Impact on Harp Music Making in Australia, 1830 to 1866, An Early History from Documents, Rosemary Margaret Hello. And for a thesis entitled Declarative Computer Music Programming Using Prolog to Generate Rule-Based Musical Counterpoints, Robert Pavel Wolf.
Chancellor, University Doctoral Research Medals are awarded to graduates who have completed outstanding research at doctoral level. This award is the premier award for doctoral candidates at the university. I, Professor Warren Bebbington, Vice-Chancellor and President of the University of Adelaide, present to you the winner of the 2014 University Doctoral Research Medal. For research in the field of human society, Dr. Gillian Shedneck.
As I close, can I reiterate my congratulations to all of the graduates who've been received today. Be proud of what you've achieved and worked for, and remember those who've supported you through this journey. I wish you every success as you enter this new and exciting phase of your life and your career. I also want to thank our honorary doctors for their wonderful performance. I guess the next speaker have got something to match. As graduates of this University of Adelaide, you are our alumni and ambassadors. Over the years since the university was established, its alumni have made an enormous contribution to the community, both here, throughout Australia and throughout the world. And today you join a community of more than 150,000 alumni in more than 80 countries throughout our world. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our mace bearer and all those who've assisted in today's ceremony. I ask that all of our graduates remain seated and invite everyone else to stand here and again congratulate our graduates on their achievements. Would the audience remain standing, and could I ask the graduates now to please stand for the academic recession. I now declare this congregation adjourned.